like to introduce the one, the only, me.
Hey, squiddies! Sorry, got like an air bubble in there. Squiddies, it's Dre from Tattoo Squid Podcast, and my guest today is Stu from Stu World Order from the Pennsylvania state. So, the mining company of the world. Anyway, no, but hello, Stu. How are you? We're not going to call you Stewie, because
No, don't call me. No, it's fine.
no, because you're taller. You're not a baby. No, yeah, but
I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I had mozzarella sticks, so there might be a little gases going on, but other than that, it's all good. Yeah.
I always like the thing about mozzarella sticks where I saw it a few years ago online where it's go up to somebody to ask them, would you like to have 6 string cheeses? And they're like, no, God, that sounds terrible. And they're like, what if I deep fried and give you mozzarella sauce? That sounds great. I'll definitely eat those.
That is wonderful. No. And I had the string cheeses and all that. It's just like, you peel it, then it's like peeling a banana, but it's all white still.
Yeah.
You're like, lovely.
It's a lot of work for not that great of food. You can just get a bag of mozzarella cheese and just eat that instead. Just eat shredded mozzarella cheese at that point.
I know, and it's like, we're kids. We don't have a mind span. It's like the fuck we're supposed to do with this? And
I just peel it. I just peel strings off of it. Okay, sure, why not?
Fuck it, I'll eat it the way it is. That's it. I mean, at the time I was watching. There was one guy on YouTube, and he had like a channel. No, there's no dyslexia. So he gets on there, and then they had this a thing where they're doing this game and all that. It's basically called Drunk, Stone, or Stupid. So, yeah, it's the way it sounds, But they pick a card, and the one guy that picks a card, or girl, picks a card, and they're the judge. So, like, say me and you were playing, and we had like 5 to 6 of our podcasts, whatever, and then we pick a card. Like, I pick a card, and I read the prompt, and it's like, oh, this person is more than likely to peel the cheese or eat it as a whole, and then you have to pretty much throw somebody underneath the bus, that. But everybody has to agree. Not really. Everybody has to agree, but if everybody points to that same person, and then the judge is like, okay, we're gonna go with this person, or they can make their own thing, and it's really funny. But if you get 7 cards, then you lose. But technically, you win, but you lose. So, and that's how they end it. Yeah.
There you go.
That's that'd be a good title: Drunk, Stone, or Stupid. There you go.
I do have to say, like, the string cheese thing, like, peeling it is weird.
Yeah.
But the thought of just eating straight into it is even weirder. But like, if I bought like a block of mozzarella cheese and I cut a chunk off of it, I would eat that. It's just the same thing. You're just eating a chunk. But for some reason, the string cheese, if you just gave it to me, I would still probably peel it like a child, because just biting into it, it feels so wrong in my head. That's not what we've been taught to do. It's like, no, it comes off in strings. That's how you do it.
That's what happens when we're like in the 70s, 80s, whatever. Nothing's like against the law. We've done everything. It's like, hey, we drank from the hose, from the outside hose. We ran through the sprinkler system. What was the other things that we couldn't fucking do this year, this time? We couldn't drink the hose, drink from the hose. It was like, oh, you can have bacteria or something. I'm like, we turned out fine now. And then one guy has like 2 heads. No, but it's like, I'm okay. What was the other stuff? You've been through the same
riding in the back of a truck, just in the bed of the truck, shit like that. Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I didn't die doing it. Yeah, but probably lots of other people did. We can't just do that now.
We had seats in there and seat belts. It was like, it's like when we're Doombaying and everything else. Like, you sit out there and you do like, tail whips and actually we. And I love, they don't even have these, I'd love to have these station wagons again where they got the seat that's in the back and then you can roll down the window and just go, hi, to the people behind you and just sit there and just like relax. It's like, are you drinking back there? No, not really. We're just having hot cocoa, in comic books. Haha. Actually, and I know that you do comic books and everything else, comic book movies,
Mhm.
but when you're younger, uh, what do you kind of recollect? What kind of, not what kind, what was your favorite comic book to read when you're younger?
Way too many. I had thousands of comic books growing up by the time I got into college. Most of my collection was probably Spider-Man comics and X-Men comics. Like I remember at one point I logged them. I had them all on a spreadsheet or something. I was over 5,000, and I would imagine like a solid probably 2,000 of those were either X-Men or Spider-Man comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had everything. I had some Avengers stuff. I had some stuff from DC. I had just pretty much anything Marvel put out in the early 90s. But it was, so many different X-Men titles, so many different Spider-Man titles. And I bought every single one every single month.
Now, is there like a certain thing were you a Marvel guy or a DC guy or like everything? Yeah.
As a kid, I was definitely Marvel. I definitely, like I said, I read all the Spider-Man and X-Men stuff. And then when I became, 15, 16 years old, I hit that little like age bracket where I decided like, I'm too old for this. I'm not supposed to be reading comic books anymore. So I stopped for a bit. And then I want to say around my freshman year of college, I was in Barnes and Noble and I was just looking on the rack and everything. And I picked some up just, to see what I had missed, to see what was going on. And so
Yeah.
around 20, I started collecting again. And in my 20s, when I got back to it, I was not almost exclusively, but I was much heavier into DC.
Yeah.
So that makes it sound like I'm saying like, oh, Marvel was for kids and DC was for adults. But I just think like I didn't really recognize DC as a kid. Thought like, oh, super boring, Batman's boring, Marvel has mutants and Spider-Man and it's so much better. But yeah, DC was just like, they were fantastic in that era, and I just missed everything. I had to go back to it in my 20s whenever I found out like, oh shit, the Flash is a great character, Green Lantern's a great character, and I was being a snob like little kid who didn't recognize it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I started out with I remember this like it was like yesterday because I would go and I'll be like that station wagon I was telling you about, the station wagon that had the seat in the back. I would sit back there. My dad would go and play his lotto, and I would sit there and read my Ghost Rider magazines, like the original like Ghost Riders, and that's all I would read, like that and Firestorm and whatnot. So everybody was like, "What are you reading?" I'm like, "I'm just looking at the books." I'm just looking at I'm looking at the pictures. I don't really read it. And yeah, that was like my favorite. Then I started progressing a little bit more. So I got my X-Men. Which we're gonna get into that one because I got some questions about that one.
All right.
Huh?
I said, all right. Yeah, I'm all about talking about X-Men. Yeah, that's
Well,
great.
no, I mean, but there's like, like the movie wise, and we'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like X-Men, I would do X-Men and then Alpha Flight,
Oh, nice.
and then I got into the New Mutants, and then there was there was like a whole bunch of different ones, and then you got into like the Frankenstein Chronicles, where they had like a super group. Like they had Frankenstein, he was like the leader, and then they had other guys like more of a, and what was the other one? Oh, there was one, there was a group called, they had a guy named Geoforce, I think it was Geoforce, I don't know. There was one where it has Katana.
Oh, was that The Outsiders?
Outsider, thank you.
Yeah.
I complete, because that was like my favorite one too, and yes, folks, I can forget shit, because I'm getting near 50, so this face doesn't say 32 anymore. It just says near 50, and I completely lost my fucking mind. So, but Outsiders was like the best one, which I did not know Batman put them together. So
Yeah, I read for I do comic book reviews on my website, and I just kind of pick random comics that I have access to and I read them, and I read the very first trade of Batman and the Outsiders. Yeah, so it's basically the one where he puts the team together, and it's a really neat first issue cover where it's like Batman telling the Justice League like, screw you guys, I have a new team.
I'm just gonna go over here. But then, wasn't it they had? Wait, hold on. Let me look at this one. Watch, I'm gonna type in Outsiders, and they're gonna give me the one where it's like type in-
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
No, not even. Well, not even that one. No, the ones where we call it like, hey, Pony Boy and
Oh,
and
okay,
Soda
yeah.
Pop, and then yep, sure as shit, that's what they gave me. You son of bitches. All right, comic books. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. So let's see. We got the. Would they give you the names? Oh, hello. I went to the wrong one. No. Okay. No, I'm not looking to purchase yet. Not just yet. Maybe. Ah, here we go. Wikipedia. That's when they tell you all this shit. They tell you the birthrights and who is who and where is where and what.
Yeah, I'm blanking on who else was on that team. When you said Geoforce and Katana, it instantly was like, oh yeah,
Well,
I remember.
I mean,
that
there is
book.
a guy I think that is Geoforce. I think, yeah, Geoforce. Yeah,
yeah. He was like a prince, and if you watch the Young Justice cartoon that had come out, the third season of Young Justice, I started watching that, and I was just like, oh, this is Batman and the Outsiders. They just took that whole storyline and made it a season of the show.
Oh wait, here we go. I found them. Now give me the damn thingamajiggy. Oh, you sons of bitches! I tell you. Well, as from what I can see on the cover, there's Geoforce, there's Katana, Black Lightning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Looker, I think that's the name of the girl. Yeah, Looker. And there's Metamorpho, which that guy was my favorite. Right.
Yeah, Metamorpho was awesome. Yeah.
He changed like every liquid form, gas. Yeah. It was awesome the way they do it. But we call those guys. I mean, that was like my favorite growing up. That and Ghost Rider and X-Men. But all right, let's get into X-Men for a minute here. All right, the movies. Now, the very first one, awesome, because you never figure you're gonna see it, and it comes out. So it's like the very first comic book movie?
No.
Or maybe the Green Hornet. I don't know. Because I know Green Hornet had like a comic book movie as well, but it did have it's a comic. Yeah. Everything's comics.
I mean, the biggest. The first one that was like a big major motion picture release was probably the one everyone thinks of would be Superman in '78.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wasn't even going like that. I was pretty much going like for like a group superhero thing. So X-Men I think would be the very first. I would think.
You know what? Honestly, I think would predate them would be Mystery Men. I think Mystery Men came out a year or two before X-Men.
No, true. Yeah.
The movie with Ben Stiller, yeah.
Yeah, but would you call that really? Yeah.
I think it was based on a comic, actually. I'll have to look into that. That's something it seems like I should know. But I think it was based on a comic initially.
Yeah, come on, Stu. You should know this shit. Come on.
I should. I don't. I'm terrible at research.
Aren't we all? We never really study when we were in high school or college or whatever. We studied great when we were in the bar. That was it. It's like, hold on. Okay. Hand me a shot. Okay. But no, but X-Men for me, when I was watching it, and now, I wanted my girlfriend from then, we called, and then we were married and all that, but girlfriend-wise, when we were together, I was like, listen, we gotta see X-Men. And she goes, why? It's a comic book. I'm like, hush your mouth. And I'm like, listen, there's this and this. Like, is there anybody on there that I know? I'm like, Patrick Stewart? What? Who? Where? I'm like, well, he plays Professor X. He's like in a wheelchair. Is he hurt? I'm like, because Patrick Stewart is like her idol.
Oh, okay.
He has like the Star Trek, like, she had, was that 96? She had a 96 Hyundai Scoop. And this thing was like, looked like a submarine, we call it into the water. But she had a sticker, it's like, ongoing a dirt test. Anyway, so she had that, and then she had, Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, the captain, like, Velcroed or glued to her dash.
Nice.
And it's just like, every time you hit a bump, you would just wiggle around. Instead of the Hawaiian girl, going like that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Patrick Stewart wiggling around, and I'm like, okay. And then and then at that time I was like fearing for my life because of her driving. Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, and then, to the fact that she had a Rottweiler, named Dillinger, so he's sitting in the back seat, but I see his head sticking between my seat and the door.
Okay.
So his head's right there, and I'm looking at him like, "Oh, is that how you do it?" I'm like, "I'm sitting back there next time." Like you're sitting in the front, and he just gave me a look like, "Oh no." Yeah. But no. So X-Men. I'm sorry, I sidetracked again. All right. So X-Men. Why do they have to put everything into one movie? Like every person, like every character. Now you went through the comics, obviously, like I went through the comics, and you know that. Okay, like say for instance, you got Wolverine, you got Kitty, and then Colossus is like not supposed to be like the like a kid in the Xavier school. I mean, he's like an older guy that comes into the thing. From what I've known from the comics and the cartoons and all that, and they make him look like, oh, it's a little kid, Kitty and Kitty, and Kitty and Kitty, make Kitty, Let me guess, it's a Marvel name.
Uh, Actually, kind of accidentally, yeah. My cat has just jumped on my lap. His name is Nuke, who is a Marvel character, but that's not where it came from. It came from, we kind of bought this cat on a whim, and we owned him for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we never gave him a name, and he was just New Kitty, New Kitty, and New Kitty. And then my wife was just like, let's just abbreviate New Kitty to Nuke. And so that's his name. And he loves me very much, and he doesn't like me to podcast alone, apparently.
Well, there you go.
He has to get on the lap.
As long as he doesn't go across the keyboard like my cat used to do, like bang, 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 bang. I'm thinking like the I'm thinking of the Tom and Jerry fucking thing. Bam, 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 bam.
He might knock the microphone over. He has done that once before. I was on a show and he just came up and knocked the microphone over, but he's usually good enough not to do that.
That's me. Really? What the hell? I know I reappeared. There you go. That's what happens when you have the thing in the back here. So once I have well, anyway, I sidetracked again. So sorry, folks. X-Men. So now you go like you have Colossus, as a younger person. I don't know why. Kitty Pryde. Obviously, she's young, so that was it. But Rogue. Now Rogue, I think, was an older person coming in as well. She was not like a kid at
I think whenever I was reading the X-Men, I was a little kid. So of course, like they all seemed like adults to me. But I think like when you read Rogue's, well, not her first appearance, but at least when she comes into the X-Men, when she realizes she's having trouble with her powers and Ms. Marvel and everything, she comes into the X-Men. I think she's supposed to be like 20 maybe, like she's supposed to be younger, like she's not a kid, but she's still like young, and she was influenced by Mystique and did some things she may not have wanted to do and what have you, but she was still young and impressionable. Like I think Colossus was supposed to be 19 when he joined, so another situation where like he's not a little kid, but he's still a young man.
You think about it, I think he did look a little 19, I think, in the movie it is. So I mean, to me that like I thought he was like older, because when I seen like the cartoons, which I know it's not supposed to be transcending to like real time, but they do that whole thing, and then they bring like Forge in like on another. I'm like, what the fuck? Wait a minute, they don't come in until afterwards. Where did all this shit come from? Like maybe the Sentinels. They didn't even have a Jubilee.
I know. Don't even get me started on that. That makes me so mad. My favorite comic book character of all time. And I'm still waiting, like, how many X-Men movies they've made, and we've not gotten more than, like, one version of her that said a couple of lines in Apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? I know what she was like in the beginning. I mean, they had... who's the other one? The Cajun. He wasn't even...
Gambit,
he wasn't in it, I'm like, the fuck? I mean, they got Beast. They had Cyclops, obviously, but again, he looked like a teenager kind of thing in that one, and Oh, what the hell? Jean Grey. You
Yeah,
know,
she definitely looked older than Cyclops. Yeah, because Cyclops passed as like young 20s, and
yeah,
Famke Johnson, the actress who played Jean Grey, great actress, but she was definitely like at least 30.
yeah. She was like the older, like the older cousin. Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, like, oh, what the fuck? But all right, I give it props. We call Wolverine. They got Hugh Jackman, and he kind of fit the bill. But Wolverine, as we know, folks, come on, Wolverine is like 5 foot. In the
Yeah.
comics, where he's like 5 foot, not like 6'2" GQ. I mean, he's like shorter than Storm actually.
Yeah.
And then that's what's funny because I'm looking at it, I see Wolverine and he's like five something, and then there's Puck from like Alpha Flight. I'm like, those two can fight.
Yeah.
And they're both fucking hairy. you know, it's like holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris
But
Claremont just decided short people were hairy for some reason. So he and John Byrne were just like, that's what we're gonna do. And
I
make
know,
short people who
right?
are hairy.
It was like, I seen little people. I mean, okay, we make give the term the way it is. Little people. It's like, all right, listen. But then none of them were hairy. You know, even the little people that are strippers, they were not hairy. You know, we get too far into that one. we, we got Jubilee, and then you got all the other stuff going on. Like even when they had the apocalypse, I don't know. It just the makeup stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Apocalypse looked real rough in the movies.
Yeah, it was just
that was
like,
not a good that was not a good design they put on him.
it actually kind of like he almost slightly looks like the guy that was in Power Rangers, the goo guy.
Yeah, Ivan Ooze.
Yeah,
That's what everybody was. That's what everybody was talking about whenever they first showed clips of X-Men Apocalypse, and we got to see Apocalypse. That's what everyone was saying. Like, he looks like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers.
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I'm like, shit. They were like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. It just looked like it, And then, next thing you know, you have Goldar fucking flying around, And actually, you did. It was called Angel, That was it,
You just need the X-Men to fight Rita Repulsa.
Yeah. Honestly, she was the best one. Between her and folks, I know we're jumping, but that's how the podcast goes. We jump back and forth. That's how it goes. And there's no morality. There's no like, hey, let's stick with this format. I don't have a format. This is like, we go here and there, folks. That's it. If we're going to talk about this and this, like, oh, by the way, porn stars are, and and then you go back, like, speaking of porn stars, let's get back to Rogue, and that is like some skin tight, because now I've been seeing some of these cartoons, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, we were watching this as kids. You see this before? Like He-Man. Yeah.
Yeah, you see the comics that we read growing up with Jim Lee drawing like Psylocke and everything, and it's just like, I don't know if that was appropriate for us as children. But Marvel knew what they were doing. I remember Marvel, like in the early '90s, every summer they would release a swimsuit special, and it's like, oh goddamn, that's just every bad stereotype about comic book fans possible. Is like, we're gonna release a book where all the comic book characters are just posing on the beach in their swimwear,
and every kid that's gonna be like 12 years and under, like, can we get an autograph? It's like, really, you're gonna talk? I'm like, yeah, you never know these days, So, I mean, but now comic book movies. What else they got coming out now?
Oh geez, they got like several a year anymore. It's keeping me in business over here on the podcast because I started off with a list of 125 movies, and here I am like 36, 37 episodes in recorded, and my list is only down to 118 because there's always new stuff coming out I can replace on the list. Like, as of recording, it's June 3rd. I just found out Multiverse of Madness is going to be on streaming inside of 3 weeks, so that's going to be on the list shortly for
the
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. I was like, I want to see it. I don't want to go. I don't know. What do you think about going to the movies? Have you gone to the movies ever since, or?
Yeah, we started going again probably late spring, early summer last year, because I think the first movie we saw, after COVID had started was either the sequel to A Quiet Place or the third The Conjuring movie.
Oh,
And
okay.
for the first like several months, I would go to the theater, I'd wear my mask and sit there, and I still will. My wife won't, but if I still go by myself, I'll definitely wear a mask. But I don't know, I love the movies, and I'm so happy to have the movies back. Once I determined, like, I've got my shots, I got my booster, I'm as safe as I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I was so happy to start going back to the movies. And that's like, it's one of those like Charlton Heston things now, man, where it's like you can take movies from my cold dead hands. I love going to the cinema. There's the theater by me has the big Dolby theater where it's like the IMAX screen with the really loud sound and your chair vibrates with the sound. I love it, man. So much more than like, if I can watch movies at home. I watch a ton of movies at home. I'm on a pace this year to watch like 300 movies by the time the year's over. I watch a ton of movies just by myself at home, but I get distracted so easily, man. Like, even with TVs being as big as they are and everything, like the lighting isn't great. There's my cats will make noise, the air conditioning will come on and make noise. I like going to the movies where the only thing I have to worry about is sitting there and watching the movie
and watching your money come out of your wallet.
Well, I have it's just the same as paying for streaming services. I have the subscription thing with AMC where I can see up to 3 movies a week. And it's not that I see 3 movies a week in theater or anything, but if you see 2 movies a month in that Dolby theater that I talked about, you've already more than paid for itself on that service. So
nice.
I love it. I go at least once a week to the movies now. I think it's great. I will always go to the movies. I remember a lot of people talking, especially when COVID started, like, oh, this is going to be the end of the movie theaters. That would make me very sad. Please don't go away, movie theaters. I will give you my money. I will buy irrationally priced popcorn and icy drinks. That's fine.
I'll give you my money. Wait, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's Wait, where did it go? Anyway, but oh yeah, there. See, how to get the money. Yeah, I was trying to find the old thing, but cash money. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go. But yeah, we call it. I used to. I think the last movie I think I ever seen in the theaters, because we had a for Christmas we got like one of those go to the movie gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
And we had one. I think we still have it, actually. And I don't know if it's going to be good anyway, but we got the thing, and all of a sudden after, that's when COVID fucking hit. And folks, we're not going to get into no COVID fucking shit. Don't worry about it. We're just saying it because that's what happened. We're going to call it the big shutdown. How about that? We're just call it the big shutdown.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's hard not to talk about, like, even here 2 years later. I mean, it's a huge thing that happened, and it affected so much shit that we do.
No, I'm just saying on this podcast, I think I said it like numerous times on each episode. So I'm like, we're just going to call it the big shutdown. So at the big shutdown, when the big shutdown went, that's when we didn't really see movies. And I'm like, I wanted to go and see movies, and I think my girlfriend at the time, she was like, not really, no. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. But no, we call it. It's like, I would love to go. I think it depends on the certain kind of movie, that comes out. I mean, if it's a comic book movie, yeah, okay. But I mean, with Doctor Strange, I'm whatever wait until it comes on the TV. It'll be a lot easier. But I mean, like, if they have the Avengers, like different Avengers that come out, that would be awesome. I mean, I'm excited for like July, because I'm waiting for July. It's next month for like Stranger Things, the yellow part.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The yellow half or whatever. Me and my girlfriend were just like, I don't know. Have you seen? Do you watch Stranger Things, or you?
I watched the pilot. I watched the very first episode. My wife watches a lot more TV than I do. I watch a lot more just like movies.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, so she watches it. I I watched the pilot. She is actually upstairs right now catching all the way up on The Boys. I think she started from episode 1 of The Boys, and she didn't remember everything that happened, so she's going all the way through that in preparation for the new season that started this weekend.
Oh, so she's going 1 and 2 and then going to, oh, wow.
Yeah, she's going all the way to the beginning to remember everything that happened.
Folks,
to me, it's just like, I love movies. TV shows feel like such an investment. It's like, oh, they're an hour each, and there's like 8 of them. That's so long. that's so long of an investment for me. I know movies are 2 hours, man. You're in and you're out, and unless it's the MCU, you don't have to watch like an episode a week or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that, like with the Avengers, and again, I love the Avengers as well. We call it as like a group and all that, because you got everything. You got Thor, you got Hawkeye, which I was hoping Hawkeye was gonna have like the actual outfit,
with the mask.
The mask, and then the whole thing, and it's just like it's like a Batman with bows and arrows. That's it. But now they got like, it has to be retrofitted. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But so then they had the whole thing, and I like the fact when you watch them. Now, I didn't notice in the beginning when I started watching like Captain America, Iron Man, and like the beginning of those. I didn't like watch until like once I saw credits, I shut it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, the credits are up. Now they got something at the end of the credits where it's a something, a secret kind of thing goes into a different one. You have to watch this movie to go, and you have to watch the whole thing and then watch the end and then see what happens to the other movie, and it all coincides.
Yeah, it's hilarious. They've just made like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say like the MCU invented post-credits scenes, because like, I mean, movies have been doing that for ages, but I mean, they've made it like this staple of now every single movie you go to, whether it's the MCU or not, you're sitting there thinking like, do I have to watch the credits? Is something going to happen? Yeah. I just went and saw Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, is there going to be something after the credits? Why would there be something after the credits in Top Gun Maverick? No reason whatsoever. But in my brain, it's just like, it's what you're trained to think now. Like every movie's got something now. You have to sit and wait.
I know. It's like, because I think the one that I see, the one movie that has like the ending part after the credits, it's like, they had like some, I think it was Space, I don't know if it was Spaceballs or somebody else. It was a Mel's Brook movie. I know that, but it was like, they go around, they're like this, and they turn around, and they're like, oh, no, it wasn't. It was Meatballs.
Oh, okay.
Meatballs 4 with Corey Feldman.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, folks, there is 4 fucking meatballs.
I did not know that. That is amazing.
I'm like,
I didn't know there was more than one.
Yeah, there's one. No, the first one, obviously, Bill Murray, fucking classic. When I saw that movie, I wanted to be a camp counselor. I wanted to be the guy that's like going camping, but is like, okay, all right, folks, time to wake up, do your calisthenics, puke your brains out. We are going swimming, and salute your shorts at 2:00. And then just be an asshole on the radio, like on the PA and all that. I wanted to do that for so long, and now I'm doing podcasts. it all came together. No. But the second one was kind of stupid. They had an alien at the campsite, but then they made the alien look like one of the kids.
Okay, yeah, this is all brand new information to me.
I know. I'm looking. Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Which I never do that, folks. I don't do that at all. But it was a good effect. Like, hey, pass it along. Okay. The Indians did it with peace pipes. That's what we're calling them. Anyway. No, but then they have a 4th one with Corey Feldman, and there was a thing about Corey Feldman, like the credits are going, and they had like the little thing, sometimes they'll have it on, like on one side, and they go to the other side, how they really do great with the credits and all that, where they'll put like some kind of action thing on one side, and they'll go over here, and they do it with the cartoon, like Pixels, they'll do it, with that, but You know, it was just like, you know, there's Corey Feldman and he's like kissing the girl and the credits are going up and all that. And they're like, and then the girl's like, and then he's like, what are you still doing here? You paid your money, let go. You know,
Yeah. I think that was the first one I can recall that did something like that. Ferris Bueller's Day Off ends with
oh,
that. Like the
yeah,
credits end and then it's like he walks out of his room wearing his robe and he does that same thing. He's like, "What are you doing? Go
yeah.
home."
But go. The movie's done. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if you ever heard like anything from the podcast, I have like when I do the inserts, like you know,
Mhm.
like before or after, and then I had this one where it's like, okay, that's it, show's over, you can go.
Yeah.
Why are you still standing there? Oh, you have to piss? Go. Yeah, your money's done. It's over. You know, call the police. I don't care. You know, and I was just going on like that, and I was like, I
Yeah.
said to my girlfriend, "What do you think about this?" And they're like, "It's okay." You know. But where we at? Okay, Ferris Bueller, and then Meatballs 4. This is gonna be a freaking episode art somewhere. Ready? Ivan Ooze, Apocalypse. Oh, that one I'm gonna have like going. You know, I want to try doing like, come on, you put your dukes up. All right. So, what kind of favorite music do you go for? I know you're doing the movies and all that, but what?
I have I'm really bad. I'm not like a great music person. Like whenever I was in college, I was at the height of like pop punk and emo were kind of popular. So I was listening to that because I had friends that listened to that. I am very much the kind of person that listens to what the people around me listen to. Because like in that era, the very end of high school, the first couple years of college, I had friends that were really into the pop punk scene. We would go to the club shows several times a month and see the bands that were playing there and listen to a lot of that stuff. And I had fun. And then just kind of got out of it. I mean, for a while, I was dating somebody who listened to J-pop and K-pop music, so I listened to a bunch of that just because it's like, oh, that's what she listened to, so that's what I listened to. My wife now, she used to listen to pretty much just what was ever was on the radio, but now it's weird. Like it's hard to find. It's not hard to find. It's very easy to find new music. It's hard to get exposed to it because everything is on Spotify now.
Yeah.
You look up whatever you want to listen to whenever you want to listen to it. You don't even have to put a CD in anymore. So now I actually just this past weekend I was telling my wife I've become everything I've hated. My entire life I've always hated like old people that won't stop talking about how like oh the 60s and the 70s were so great and they just listen to that stuff because it was like that's just from your youth, that's why you think it's good. But you know what, I sit here and I pretty much just listen to 80s and 90s music now and I've become everything I've hated. I've just become an old person that's just like yeah, this stuff from whenever I was young was the best. So yeah, it's 80s music. I have a whole playlist on Spotify that's just covers. I decided I was in love of covers of songs for a while, so I listened to that. And yeah, I still listen to a lot of the pop punk emo trash that I listened to whenever I was in college. It's objectively bad music. I get that. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince anybody that like, oh, what I listen to is great. No, what I listen to is trash, but it tickles the part of my brain that releases endorphins or whatever. So it
I
makes me happy. It
yeah,
reminds me whenever I was 20 and I was in shape and happy and going to college shows.
we didn't have the cheese sticks and the. No.
Didn't
But
have to worry so much about how I ate string cheese.
yeah, yeah, I'm like, oh, let me go have some sauce, thank you. No, but you know, because see now my friend, he listens to music. I mean, it's funny that he'll listen to music, but when we're driving in the car, he would definitely just go and turn up the Batman theme song.
Nice.
Yeah, and then because are you like all right? I know you do like comic book movies, but are you into like a horror stuff as well, or?
Oh yeah, yeah, huge. I it was real whenever I decided I had previously done a podcast and it was all about comic books and that came to an end and I knew I was going to start my own podcast, just a one-man thing by myself. It was pretty much I was either going to do comic book movies, anime, or horror. And I just kind of decided on comic book movies. I thought that was the most universal of those that I would be able to talk about because horror is so horror is so broad.
Yeah.
And there's so much horror that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And I've been working on that very much since COVID. Since I told you I'm on pace to watch 300 movies this year, the last 2 years I've watched so many movies. And like The Exorcist, I watched that for the first time. An American Werewolf in London, I watched for the first time. Like these classic horror movies I just never got around to. But no, I love horror. I do on the website, I do a lot of horror articles on movies and what have you. So yeah, big fan of that stuff.
Wait. I'm just writing something down because I got I got a little joke. American Werewolf in London. Okay, but we all have seen horror movies. It's called the presidential candidacy.
Yeah, Jesus.
But folks, I am not one for political thing. That was just a joke I just thought of. If you laugh at, it's good. If you don't ask me. That's it. But also we call it because but back to my friend. My friend would drive because the reason why I was asking about horror because of there's like every town, every state has some kind of local legend. Or like in Long Island we had the Amityville Horror. We got and then other places have different shit or whatever.
Yeah, we're close to the West Virginia border here, so the one I heard about was the Mothman thing.
Yeah, so
they made a movie of that back in the 90s. I've never seen it, but that's apparently based like somewhere around the Pennsylvania West Virginia border and what have you.
Yeah, so you got the Mothman, and Jersey has the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
We got American, and we got Amityville Horror, and like other places a different thing. So we were driving. And actually, this is like when we all can be able to hang out at Dunkin' Donuts or a Turkey Hill or whatever. Now we at 2:00 in the morning you can go somewhere that's open all night. So we go to this Dunkin' Donuts place and so it's like me, him, and his girlfriend. We're just talking about different shit. And it's like, hey, have you gone down this one street at night? We should go there tonight. And I'm like, who's driving? He's like, I'll drive. Well, I was like, all right, fuck it. We got nothing to do. We got our coffee. We got our donuts. Let's go. We're all hyped up on sugar. So all of a sudden we're driving. We get down this one street. And I forgot the name of the street, but apparently, and it's like woods. There's no lights, none whatsoever. The only lights you have is the headlights on your car. And they were driving down this windy road, and all of a sudden, he gets to like this one stop, and then he goes, wait a minute, we need some music. And I'm like, okay, what music? And all of a sudden he goes, and he's like, dun, 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 whatever the thing is, And it was a Batman theme song.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and all of a sudden after he's just driving, the lights are on, and he has blast, and the windows are down, and that's all you fucking hear, going down the street. And then they're like, well, listen, we're getting to this, and his girlfriend is trying to play it off like I'm like horror fanatic. I know everything about horror, and then and then she's like, we're gonna get to a place where the phones won't work, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, you tell me when, and I'll see if my phone will work. And all of a sudden it's like, we're here. I'm like, my phone's still working. And then I'll just go, and then scare her, and she jumps up like, she kind of scared me. I'm like, eh. So we get down there, and they said that there is a bridge, and you flash your high beams, and when you do that, you'll see people that have been hung at the bridge,
Jesus.
Like right across. Like as soon as you go across, there they are.
Yeah.
And nothing fucking happened. But then I found out that same place, like down a ways, there is a psychiatric ward that's been closed down for so many years. And there was a nurse, a psychotic nurse, I think, brought children to said forest, which is in that area, and somewhat, and folks, I'm not sure about this. This is me just like speculating. I feel like one of those comedians. Listen, I'm not that guy over there. No, but folks are listening like, what the fuck's he doing? So, so then we called. There was supposed to be some kind of like nurse or something that's been psychotic and kind of like got rid of the kids. How about we just say that? Yeah, they didn't like do anything because we don't know. It's all a myth, a legend.
Oh yeah.
So it's not really. It could be real or it might not be real. I don't know. But do you have any besides the Mothman? Have you had any like myth or legends or spooky
you
places?
know what? It's terribly sad to say, as somebody who has spent my entire life reading comic books, everything like that. I can't think of anything like that I know of. But I'm not the kind of person who believes in. I'm not the kind of person who believes in aliens. I'm not the kind of person who believes in ghosts or anything like that.
Yeah.
The way I put it several years ago is, if I don't have superpowers, then I don't think it's fair that anything else extraordinary gets to exist. So until I get heat vision, I refuse to believe that aliens exist. I'm not going to believe in ghosts. I'm not going to believe in anything that, essentially I can't see, touch, taste, hear, smell, anything like that. I don't believe in any of that stuff because I don't have heat vision. It's just not fair. It's just not fair, and I won't stand for it.
So that's your secret power that you want to have is heat vision.
You know what? It's always just it's the weirdest one that comes to mind. Like, if I could pick any superpower, it'd be teleporting. I think teleporting is the best power. I hate driving places. I would like to just be able to appear wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I'll correlate this into the horror thing. The reason that heat vision always pops up to me is I remember being 22 years old, 21 years old in college. Yeah. And my roommate and I went to see a midnight showing of The Ring. So we watched the movie, we get home, and it's the first movie that since I was a little kid just terrified me. And I watched it and I got home, and the funny thing was, every time I turned on my TV in my college dorm, it defaulted to like a staticky station, and it was just like, oh shit, I don't like that anymore.
No.
And I remember for like a week and a half, every single night I went to bed, I just couldn't stop thinking about this movie. And then finally one night I was just like, no, this isn't how this is going to work. I've got to go to sleep. And so I thought in my head, there is every bit as much chance that this the Ring girl is going to come out of my tea, kill me, and that I will spontaneously develop heat vision and destroy her. And it created like this weird neural pathway in my head that was like, neither of these things is going to happen. Life is fine. And then I just went to sleep and was never scared of anything supernatural again. So it's just weird. It's just like, for whatever reason, that is the thing I thought of that night was heat vision. And so now that is just when I'm talking about a default superpower, it's heat vision.
Mine would be
in real life what I would do with it, like warm up my food faster. Like, I'm not sure what the actual use of heat vision is. Do I need to blow things up with my eyes a lot? No, that's not something that comes up in my day-to-day life, but that is like my de facto superpower.
Honey, can you put the fire on? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, yeah, we've gone camping. Starting fires is very hard, and having heat vision would make that much easier.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the flicker,
yeah.
You don't have the
we went camping once, and we went out to the camping supply place, and we bought those little bricks that are like, you're supposed to light it, and it makes making a fire incredibly easy. And we were still really bad at it.
Camping
is hard, man.
Yeah, it's hard, but if you went like with a group, like say you had a group of like 6 or 7, and then a couple of them know what the hell they're doing, and it's all good. You bring the beer, you bring this, and you cook the occasional breakfast every once in a while. Like that's how you get your sticks in. I mean, because when I went camping, I went to a place called Wamboozy. It's called. Okay. So it was like your poor man's like Woodstock. Yeah. So it was like, because I gone camping when I had Cub Scouts, and then you sit in the lean tubes and you're sleeping in there, and then you hear rustling going on, and it's the animal, and you're worried that a snake's gonna come in, but then it's like the camp counselor or whatever, it's like they start scaring you. You're like, motherfucker. And then somebody has like a convulsion that can't stop, and it wasn't me, but then we went camping. So then it's like, hey, you want to go camping? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I don't have a tent. I don't have a sleeping bag. I'm like, I went and got a sleeping bag, and then the one girl said, oh, I got a tent, no problem. And I forgot she's like 5 foot.
No.
So It's no offense to my friend Michelle. I'm like, if you listen to this, I'm not making fun of you. It's just like when you lay in your tent, it's like going into the Ewok, you know, like tent site, of
Yeah.
Star Wars. We
Oh,
just
trust me when I say like I have never slept outside. Like that is way beyond my ability to do anything in the world. Like when we go camping, it's we rent a cabin. And
ah
even then, it's not like an Evil Dead cabin. It's like
no.
it's a cabin that has like electricity and power and heat and running water and everything. Like we're essentially in a somewhat less nice house. Actually, no, it's not even that. It's a very nice place. It's a very nice cabin that just happens to be like secluded and out in the woods. Like, yeah, no, I'm not.
It
I'm
has
not sleep.
electricity.
Yeah, no, I'm not sleeping outside in a tent far away from a toilet or anything like that. That's not gonna happen.
Well, no. This place we call it, the ones that we went to, they had their own they had their own toilet thing. So it's like you go there, they had the toilet paper. It's like it wasn't like you had to go out to the woods and then hey, let me go grab poison ivy and wipe my hands. But no, it's like because most of my friends that we asked to go, they're like, really, is it going to be like, is there going to be a real toilet or something, or is there like
Yeah.
water? And there was. They had like spigots with water and all that you can get, and then they had the toilets and then they had a mini store that's like down the way, so you can go down there, get whatever supplies that you need. Like, oh, I need toilet paper. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We need
That's it,
the
man.
line.
That's not real camping by any stretch of the imagination, but that is my speed. Like I need civilization that is not too far away, that I can get all my stuff. Like you see these movies or TV shows and stuff where it's like people are in the woods and they're miles away from civilization, and it's no, that's not for me, man. That is not for me at all. Like I don't trust the world that much. I don't trust myself enough. I will die. I will die and get lost, and that'll be the end of it.
I will die. That would be
I am I am not that skilled by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I want essentially a house that I can stay in
That's
that
the
has
title I want to
trees
put for
around
this
it.
episode. That's just how I want to put for this episode. Stu did not die during this episode. I got to put this down so I won't forget. Stu won't die. Did not die. Didn't die in this episode. And then everybody's like, what the fuck happened? I was like, I don't know. Stu wore order did not die. No. He was fine. He was just didn't want to go camping. No.
Nope.
But I
Nope,
know
the cabins we go to have hot tubs, man. That's what I'm talking about. Like
there you go. Yeah.
it's very much not the camping experience, and that's fine with me.
Tub time machine, folks. Tub time machine. Gonna go back when I was like 9 years old to see what the fuck I did wrong. Actually, yeah, but I'm always like, now, okay, if you have, now speaking of that, if we had like our own time machine, what would you go and do?
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get the getting questions, folks. I tell you.
I know it's hard because then you get into all the time travel paradoxes, and it's like, if I go back, will I change anything that's happened in my life, or am I just creating a different timeline? It's see, you think too much about this kind of stuff.
Listen, Michael J. Fox. All right.
Yeah, it's like, is it Back to the Future? Is it Avengers Endgame? Is it Hot Tub Time Machine? Like, what version of time travel are we dealing with here? But yeah, you know what? I think I would go back to just going into college me and just be like, just have more fun. I don't think I enjoyed college enough. I would just be like, don't be such a prick. You're not as better than everybody as you think you are. Just enjoy things, try to be more social, make more friends, man. That's what I would tell myself. Like I was almost standoffish in high school. Or in college. I had a rough end to my high school life, and it just kind of jaded me for a couple years. I would definitely be a happier person. That's what I would just go back and advise myself, whether that changes my current life or not. It would create a timeline where maybe I would be happier and a better smiling person for a couple years. Because it's weird if you think about the time travel thing, because it's like, my life now is awesome. And for as many things as like I would like to go back and change this or that in my life, like I wouldn't want to do any kind of butterfly effect thing that would change it to where I'm not where I am right now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I'm super happy with my life right now. Like I like my job well enough. My wife is fantastic. We have a house. We've got 3 cats. Like everything's great in our life. Like we have some friends. Like I wouldn't want to do anything that would disturb that. So yeah, no, nope, nothing like that. Maybe I wouldn't go back and change myself at all. Maybe it's just go back and kill Hitler or something.
Or,
oh my God, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! Who? What do you think? The Libyans!
Yeah, go back and stop the Libyans.
yeah, just stop next to Libyans and you know, and then also
Save the clock tower! Save the clock tower!
I have my towed car. No, but we call it. You know, it was. I was trying to find. We called Doc Brown. You know, when you know, like it's like 1.21 gigawatts. Yeah. But they didn't have it. That son of a bitch. Wait a minute. How about this one instead?
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
And then, like you were talking about, we call it 88 miles per hour podcast. I'm like, that's where I thought they got it from. And I think that's what he said. Yeah, no, actually, he did say it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. We called, you know, we were talking about. So, to give you a refresher about that episode, we were talking.
Yeah, that I didn't get to listen to because of Apple.
Yeah, fuck Apple. Anyway, so no, I'm not going to get sponsored by Apple now. Yeah.
They're pulling this episode off of Apple Podcast for sure.
That son of a bitch. I'm like, no, I love Apple. It's just the fact that we call it, you know, that I don't use it.
I'm recording this on a Mac, Apple. I promise.
I'm using this on a Sony. Yeah. but so no, but we were talking about 88 miles per hour, you know, Back to the Future and all that, and tacos.
Okay, yeah, I saw that in the name of the episode. Yeah.
We were like, oh my god, we were just talking about it because he has like a taco stand like right outside of his like, I don't know if it's an apartment or whatever. I think it's like a place we call it, and he has like a taco stand like right there, and it's not like one of those truck stands, you know. It's an actual thing with the umbrella, the guys in there, hey, I'm gonna make this for you, you know. And that was it. So I was like, oh man, I gotta get one of those. He goes, don't you have one outside? I'm like, no, I got a meth lab around the corner.
Yeah, who just has a taco stand outside? Yeah. I don't have a taco stand outside. I live in suburbia. I've got like a Dollar General 2 blocks away. That's all I got.
If that, you know, I got like, you know, well, there is a Dollar General somewhere, but anyway, but you know, it was crazy how that you know, it was a crazy episode, but it was a fun one too, and I loved it. And Santos is like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever have him like, you know, doing stuff with yours, you know, you'll know firsthand. So there's a recommendation, folks. 88 miles per hour. You know, and we're not talking about some serious. We're talking about some serious shit, yes. But podcast. But yeah, because he liked the fact that we call it. I've seen a post of his. And they were talking about a shirt, and I went out and got the shirt, but it was a shirt that he had with his brother, which was called the Brothers Bear Podcast. Okay. So, like, he's like, I love the fact that you went out and got it. And I'm like, yeah, it looked pretty fucking cool. And so the other ones, but I just figured it was the same thing, and I just clicked it. But do you have stuff that you sell too for Stu World Order?
Yeah, we do actually. I'm up on TeePublic. We have some shirts on there. I've got some with my basic logo that's on my website. I have some that's my little circle icon. And don't tell Vince McMahon. I don't want him to, you know, sue me into oblivion or take my stuff off TeePublic. But I have some stuff that is the classic New World Order logo, you know, with like the spray paint looking things, except it's SWO instead of NWO.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, come on. Blue World Order did that.
Yeah.
So. You're
yeah, but he ended up buying ECW. Although here, I will say this right now, Vince McMahon, if you would like to buy my podcast, I believe I could be open to that. So if you just want to slide into my DMs and throw me an offer, I believe we could work something out.
Or if you really want to go wrestling, would you want to hip toss into the DMs? Yeah, they can hip toss you into the
baseball slide into my DMs.
I don't know if he knows baseball. You know, that's about it. You know, like I didn't know you're a wrestling person too. We can go wrestling here. So So what is your favorite wrestler, actually?
Of all time and currently, it's Daniel Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
I had gotten out of wrestling for a little bit. Wrestling's one of those things like comic books where like throughout my life I've been in and out of. But the early 2000s when he was Daniel Bryan in WWE, I started watching WWE just because I heard how great he was.
Yeah.
And I just got super invested in him. I was part of the whole like, you know, the big movement that was like he has to be the main event of WrestleMania 30, and you know the fans kind of pushed him to get there, and just ever since then I've been a huge fan of his. I was real invested when he had to retire for those few years, and whenever he came back, he got medically cleared from his concussion and neck issues to come back. I was so excited, and just,
definitely.
I think the guy's amazing. He's by all accounts just an absolute sweetheart of a dude. Like he's not a douche or anything like that. He's a great guy, and just he gets storytelling in the ring, and he can do anything. Like, so yeah, I think he's the best. I think if all the wrestlers I ever liked were somehow matched up against each other, I would cheer for Bryan Danielson to win.
But then you figure we call with that whole you struck on the subject of neck issues. Then you had Daniel Bryan. He was out because then he was doing he was the host of SmackDown, or co-host actually. And he was doing that. And then you had Edge, and he had like neck problems, and he was out for like 9 years.
Yeah, that was crazy whenever he came back, because
came back. Oh my God.
Yeah, we just thought like, oh, he's definitely done, because like you said, he had been out for a decade. Like nobody was expecting him to come back anymore or to ever get medically cleared. So that was nuts that he came back.
And I love how they make they get to the part where everything's a secret for everybody except for Vince McMahon and maybe a couple fingers of people, you know, like maybe 3 or 4 fingers of people know of this secret. Like say Edge, was coming back or whatever. Nobody knew, and even like the announcers, we call it the commentators, are like, oh, no, can't be. Oh my God, it is him! And he's just running around like a lunatic, like usual.
I remember leading into that Royal Rumble. I think that was the 2020 Rumble. I remember there were like some speculation online, like, oh, I think Edge might be in the Rumble, but even then it wasn't really taken seriously. So you heard that like maybe it'll happen, but most like people were like, no, it's not going to. So when it happened, it was still like a huge surprise. And boy, in this day and age of the internet, and everybody has cameras and everybody's taking pictures and recording everything they see backstage anywhere. It's always nice when they can still surprise you somehow.
Yeah, it's crazy how, and then all right, so you have those two back. Now, the one person I want to see back, since now we're talking about neck injuries, Paige has neck injuries as well.
Yeah.
So if she can come back, even in a different wrestling forum, like I can see her probably going to like, AEW or something or whatever, because that's where most of the people now that they get canned from WWE, they go either there or they go to New Japan.
Yeah.
But and then you figure AEW has like almost everybody in there, so they got New Japan, they got
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor we call it, but Ring of Honor is supposed to be by itself, so it's not compared to. But from what a friend of mine says, we call it that once. If you get signed to AEW or Ring of Honor, then you're wrestling for AEW as well.
Yeah, because Tony Khan owns them both now. Like he bought out Ring of Honor, so yeah, they have the Samoa Joe is on AEW television defending the Ring of Honor television title. Yeah. It's crazy.
And then the other guy, now I forgot what his name, Wheeler.
Yuta Wheeler, yeah.
Yeah, we call it, and he has like the Pure Championship, and and it's crazy. I'm like, you can get yourself into like certain situations and all that, but I can see Paige.
For a while, Kenny Omega was on TV with the Impact title, the AEW title, and the AAA title. That was crazy too.
Yeah, I mean they do AAA stuff. They go, and even when the Hardys guy in there. Well, I mean Matt Hardy was in there before. But then when Jeff Hardy got in there, and then they were talking about it, and they're like, yeah, we call it, we had a contract, and then he goes, I was reading the contract, and it was just like, it's like, wait, we can go anywhere we want? We can go to any kind of like wrestling finale show or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's like, you know, Ring of Honor, you can go on there, or you can go to Japan and do over there, or you can just go to like some little, like, you know, Tahiti fucking place in the corner, and you're like, hey, it's Jeff Hardy, he's in Tahiti, you know, that was it. Or something. I don't know. But then I
Yeah.
can see Paige going on there and being with, like, you know, the women wrestling, because the one on AEW, we call it, have like phenomenal fucking women wrestling going in there. I know it hasn't been said a lot, but I mean, to my knowledge, I'm like, you got that, and they got more factions than they do.
Yeah, like the WWE, they long ago just kind of gave up on the whole faction thing. Like occasionally have like three guys, like the
Yeah.
Bloodline with Roman and the Usos, and that's pretty much as close as you get. But yeah, in AEW, they had the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, and
Yeah.
those all seem to have gone by the wayside. Now Jericho has like a group of jobbers that just like him, and the
Yeah.
Pinnacle split up. Yeah, they don't even have that many. You haven't seen the Dark Order in a while, so it seemed like AEW was getting into the whole like New Japan inspired, like every wrestler is in some gang or another, but it seems like they're kind of getting away from that, maybe.
I mean, Dark Order, we call it, is around. It's just we call it, they're more, I don't want to say comical, but they are having more fun, I guess, than when they were doing, because they're evil wise, but then they start doing more comical. I said comical. I didn't want to say that, but you know, it is what it is. But they were like being more fun about it. But you know, now you have like Edge. He has like two people underneath him now.
Oh yeah, Judgment Day is the name of that group. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then they're talking about having another one probably, but you know, I like the fact that Malachi Black.
Oh, the House of Black, yeah.
The House of Black. I love that guy. We call it, not like I love him. I just love him as a fan, you know, because I loved when he was in, when he was in WWE as Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he did Netflix, when he did NXT, you know, he was like phenomenal. You know, it's like the mystique of Undertaker, and Undertaker is my favorite wrestler, you know, because I got the tattoo and everything else, so it's like, you know, the symbol of that's on his pants. But nice. I like, you know, because the whole mystique of Aleister Black, which, you know, his name was Tommy End, but then when they got rid of him and they didn't have nothing for him when he went to the main stage, so then now he's in AEW, but he got there quicker because he was on NXT's contract still when he was doing the main stage. So that's how he can be able to go and do 30 days instead of doing the 90 days that everybody else was doing to get canned. So, but then that whole thing where he has Brody King, he has Murphy, you know, himself, and then
that's what I was gonna say. I definitely like Malachi back, but I've always been a really big fan of he's Buddy Matthews now in AEW. Yeah. I think he's phenomenal, and it's almost kind of sad. It took me a long time to get into AEW. Like the first year or so that it existed, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this a little bit, see where they go. I thought people were jumping on the hype train a little bit fast for that, but now I'm a big fan of it. But it just feels like they have so many people now that they're just not getting used enough. Like I forget Buddy Matthews is there half the time, and then occasionally he and Malachi Black will do something, and it's, oh yeah, that's right, Buddy Murphy is here now. Keith Lee's in AEW now, and it's just I'm watching Keith Lee, and it's just like, man, this is main roster WWE all over again, where it's like, how do you have Keith Lee and not have him be in the main event? Like, he is the total package. He looks like a monster. He can talk like a genius, and he's amazing in the ring. Like, how do you have him doing like weird mid-card tag team stuff? It just seems so weird. Well, AEW's just got so many people.
Yeah, they're gonna get the title no matter what. It's gonna be handed off here and there. You know, it's like, But I mean, with Malachi Black, because even when they had Julia Hart, you know, and that one, I was like, I knew that she was gonna be in the group.
Oh yeah.
It's just like that little quirk moments where she didn't do anything, and it looked like they got pissed off, like she didn't do anything. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Take that eye patch off. Blah 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 blah. and then next thing you know, like the lights dim, and then there she is blowing mist weak on the thing, and I'm like, Okay, all right, now she's in. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like I gotta find pictures of those to put in this the Malachi Black.
Yeah, we fans are real bad at long-term storytelling. Like we just don't appreciate if things that we think are happening don't happen right away. We're very spoiled.
Yeah.
Like you
But,
figure you go back to WWE in the 80s and they had the Macho Man Miss Elizabeth storyline extended across like 3 WrestleManias. Like it took from WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 7, and you had a complete like Macho Man Miss Elizabeth, like they're happy as world champion. They break up because of Hogan. He's with Sherry for a while, and then at WrestleMania 7, finally they get back together. I mean, that's like 3 or 4 years worth of storytelling right there.
Yeah, no.
But like nowadays, if it didn't get resolved in 7 months, we'd be like, oh, this is terrible.
It was like, it's like, oh my god, you know, it's like crazy. What the hell, really? Oh, wait, I was trying to look at something actually, and I spelled it wrong. Motherfucker. Hold on, people. I went to school for something, and you know, but you know, then after the whole thing was gone, you know, we had to, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Anyway. That's the end of the match. You know, tell everybody where they can find you at, and explain a little bit about the podcast too. I know I did this at the end. I should have done this in the middle, but
no, don't worry about it, man.
we're going all over the place with this stuff.
So the Stu World Order podcast, we do random comic book movies, and how I mean by that is I mentioned earlier I have a big list, like 1 to currently I think it's like 118 comic book movies. Yeah. I have guests that come on the show. In preparation for the show, I have them give me 3 numbers. I tell them, like, here are the 3 movies from the list that you pulled. Then they get to choose the one that we want to discuss. So, you know, our show's done everything so far in just 30 episodes. We've done everything from Avengers Endgame to Catwoman, man. Like, our gaps are all over the place. We do great movies, bad movies. But my look at it is every movie, no matter how popular or hated, has ups and downs. Like there's good things and bad things to everything. So we look at the movie, we give it our ups, we give it our downs, and then at the end we rate it out of 10. And every episode I try to come up with a talking point, just something tangentially related to the movie. Like if we watch, say, whenever we did what was it? Sin City. We did Sin City. Say the talking point for that episode was, what are some of your favorite black and white movies? So something like that will be
okay, yeah.
At the end of every episode. So I really enjoy it. I have fun with it. It spurned off of, like I said, I previously had a podcast several years ago that was comic book based. And then when that ended, I came up with my website, which is swoproductions.com, where I have new articles every single weekday, is some fiction stuff, a lot of entertainment articles, top 10 list, movie reviews, wrestling reviews, stuff like that. And a few months of having that, the podcast community seemed to have missed me. I had some friends saying like, oh man, you need to start a new show. So that's where the Stu World Order podcast came in. So yeah, we're on pretty much all the podcast players. Go out and get them. And you know, yeah, the website SWO Productions, please check that out. I and my buddies put a lot of effort into that.
All right, folks, and then you also can find me at Linktree, linktr.ee/Tattoo Squid Podcast. That's TATOSQUID podcast, all one word. And you can get all, you know, just go to all the links. You know, you can go to Good Pods, you can go to you know, YouTube, find me there. You can go to Instagram, find me there. TikTok, Twitch, which I still have not figured out much, but you know, because I wanted to do that thing, like, you know, play video games or some shit like that. But
I very much want to figure out Twitch and TikTok, but my 40-some-year-old brain is just like, no, this is hard.
No, TikTok I can pretty much do. I mean, I did it when I had my own like TikTok. Now I'm trying to do like a podcast TikTok where it's basically like wherever episode art I'll just put on there, and I'll, you know, now, but then sometimes I'll do a little quirky, like I did one where what the hell was it called? The one with Emilio Estevez and the Young Guns. So
okay.
So they had like this little thing about Young Guns where Emilio Estevez is like Billy the Kid or whatever, and he's like sitting there and he's like, "Hey, is so and so there?" He goes, "He's not there anymore." You know. So it's like that little thing. I did a couple of things of that, and you know, couple of like throwing a grenade and you know like having fun. It's like you're having fun, but you have to like stop and then start again and stop and then
Yeah, that's it for me. Editing videos is too hard, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing editing. I'm trying to do editing on an off-site kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I can try to do it, but I don't know. But folks, that is it for this episode. Okay, and no, that's not the dinner bell. Which actually I do have to eat dinner as well too. But go follow Stu and Stu World Order. Go to Stu Productions, Stu World Order Productions. And
SWO Productions, yeah. You don't have to type the whole thing in. It's just swoproductions.com, and same thing on Twitter at SWO Productions.
I might have to use this whole background thing over here for the episode art.
Nice.
And it's like Stu World Order, and then put a whole bunch of mozzarella sticks somewhere. But well, check it out, and this is gonna be out in a couple, like maybe in a month or something, because. I'm going to try to finish up all my stuff and then do my third season, which is a game show.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. We call it, when I get you on next time or something, we can, talk about it.
I love game shows, man. I'm very excited for that.
This is like a movie kind of like game show thing, so.
Yeah, I will do very poorly. That's fine. I still like to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just like, I'll let you know, and then I'll get you on there, and then I'll put you on the list. I have the list in the beginning of this paper, I think. Hold on. Let me just see. Hold on. Where are you? Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, you'll be number 20 then. Haha. Okay. Cool. So,
lucky
everybody,
number 20.
Lucky number 20. I might do 30. I don't know. See what happens. But, folks, also, drop some money somewhere. We got those little things like on Twitter. Some of us do have that little money thing right there. If you click on it, I'm not sure you're going to get money, but if you can give us some money, I can make this a lot more better. And have somebody edit my videos. So no, but honestly, it'll help out immensely for the podcast. It's not like a Jerry. What's that guy's name that did the telethons?
Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, it's not like Jerry Lewis, and he's gonna take your money and not really do anything with it.
I got wrestling on the brain. You said Jerry. I was like, Lawler?
Yeah, well, he would take money too, but
he would take your money too.
Yeah, he would. But then once you say boobies, then he'd be like, and then probably have no heart attack. I don't know, but still.
Poor Jerry.
Poor Jerry. He should not do the masturbation scene. No, but anyway, that came out so wrong. All right. Thank God we're going off the air now. But folks, I'm going to talk to Jerry a little bit, and then then we'll talk to you later. Everybody. Wait, now I got to find the fucking thing. Where did you go? Hold on. Technical difficulties, folks. Oh, here we go. There.